December. Rocky, if we can have the next screen, please. So my name's Mark Laird. I'm the BSM SIG leader, and I will be today's host. And I'm supported by Rocky Pisto, Lindsay, and Asaf from HP, and they're here if there's questions and things that that we can help you with. So next slide, please. Some housekeeping. So this live session is being recorded. We will make the recordings available to all Vivit members through the Vivit website. And if you've got questions, please type them into the questions pane. What we do is we will unmute lines for the questions to give each person a chance to talk at the end as we go through. So if there are questions, yeah, please type them into the question bar. The webinar control panel, there is a toggle view in the top right-hand corner. The orange flashing arrow will actually toggle out the webinar control panel, and in the bottom of that you'll see the question box. So if you type questions into there, then we'll go through those in a minute. So the OM and APM forum have now been merged with the APM Practitioners forum, and this is now being run by the Vivit BSM Special Interest Group. Vivit is the independent HP software user group, so it's the perfect home for the APM Practitioners forum. We've got over 5,800 members from around the world, and there's a total of about 24,500 HP software users, partners, and HP staff based in 76 chapters around the world. The forum just provides an opportunity for people on the call to share experiences, ask questions, and learn from other like-minded practitioners. It's a monthly call focused on best practice and strategies. We go through the list and the alphabetical order generally, and on the list of that I can see in front of me. Each person will get a quick chance to talk, and what we'd like is people to raise in-scope questions or topics, and then anybody else can respond with comments or questions. We also pass these through to HP, so we have one of the HP team attending. If there's no other comments or questions, we'll move on to the next topic.
Hey Mark, we'll probably schedule the next call for January sometime. We just haven't plugged in the date yet.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, we'll do the next call middle of January, I would have thought. So I'm looking at my list, and the first person that I've got on my list is Bozidar Prochulipak, and I've unmuted your line, so you can complain if I've mispronounced your name horribly. So,
You may not know.
Do you have a question, or would you like to introduce yourself? Okay.
Just to mute my line.
Yeah, if I unmute you, I get a very terrible echo. Okay, he's disappeared. So I will move to the next one on the list. So Colin Christie, I've unmuted your line. Would you like to introduce yourself and a quick update on any questions?
Yep, sure. So my name is Colin. I'm a consultant with Configure Consulting. We are based in Toronto, or Mississauga more specifically. No specific questions right now. I'm just here to watch and see what kind of stuff you guys are going to talk about today.
Okay. What are you using in terms of the BSM family?
So most of my work has been around OMI and SiteScope, little bit of diagnostics work too, just mostly monitoring systems, using events, and creating some dashboards.
Mm-hmm. And integration into Service Manager or a service management solution?
Yeah, I've had some experience with doing the CLIP solution with Service Manager.
Okay. Welcome to the forum.
This is Rocky. Any good, bad, or ugly story you can share with us?
Not yet. I'm still relatively new, but I'm sure I'll have some down the line.
Or any challenges you're finding being new in this space?
Just more like familiarizing myself with the business goals. I'm a pretty technical person, but I find the tools really easy to use and easy to learn on. So, yeah, it's been a good experience so far.
Great, thank you.
Nice to hear.
Thanks.
Right, Edson Cassiano, you're on. Edson, are you with us? Are you muted at your end?
I'm hearing the family.
Hello? Edson. Okay, I'll go to the next one. So Eric Buckwalter, it's you, I'm afraid.
Hi, my name's Eric Buckwalter. I work at OpenText, formerly GXS. Some of the products I'm personally been involved with in SiteScope for many years. Most recently, diagnostics for the last 3 years. Fairly new. We have BSM stood up now, and we're starting to use it, but we're just novice users of it. We've used OM extensively for many, many years. We also have used NNMI and Service Manager as well. No specific questions for me today, but we are focused a little bit on the BSM side, just getting our hands wet with OMI, understanding that, and some connectors. We have a NogGeos connector integrated now, and we're looking at integrating a Zabbix connector as well.
Okay. And are you using any of the business process modules, the BPMs, the probes, or RUM, or any of the sort of end user monitor, or is it?
Yeah, we're not using RUM. We do have BPM set up, and I have a couple of BPM scripts running now, but I'm still in the learning phase of that too.
Okay. Well, welcome to the forum.
Thanks.
Eric, do you have any thoughts about the current state of BSM these days, or the perception of the tools?
Well, we understand that the direction as far as OM going towards OMI is what we need to be focused on. Like I said, we don't have a whole lot of experience with it. We're kind of just getting involved with having our NOC teams use OMI on a day-to-day basis just recently, like within the past month, on a fairly dedicated project. We want to get this up and running and being used on this kind of a pilot project before we go full blast and try to migrate everything from OM into OMI. We have, just maybe a couple concerns about OMI and its, highly availability, being highly available, since with OM we have a clustered environment and we've worked with that for many, many years, so we know how to handle that. But we're not as confident yet with OMI.
Mm-hmm.
And are you running your OM infrastructure on Windows or Unix?
Linux. We're pretty much all
Linux.
Linux.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Right, next on the list I have Francois Valliere. Francois?
Yes, hi. My name is Francois. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
perfectly.
Yes, okay, sorry. Yes, my name is François Valliere. I'm working at SNC Lavalin back in Montreal, Canada. We have currently NNM, OMW, SiteScope, OMI, and BPM. We're trying to get all our messages, all our events properly in OMI, so that's what we're working towards. So far we had some success, but we're facing a couple of challenges, and I had two specific questions to ask the community just to get the feeling. One of those questions is how do people usually integrate HP SIM in all this? Because there's an integration for OMW, there's an integration for NNM, there's an integration for OMI, I believe, through BSM connector. So we're trying, we want to get notified when there's a hardware failure, and currently HP SIM does the notification, but we want to do the correlation, so we want to bring HP SIM in the picture, but we're not sure if we should do it through OMW, NNM, or the BSM connector.
Okay. I think Asaf is on the line, but you did say he was running a little bit late.
No, I'm here.
Asaf, are you around? Okay. Asaf, would you like to take that?
I can take a stab on the question, and maybe others will chime in. The integrations that you mentioned, you also specified them in the right historical chronological order. At the beginning we had the NNMI, and then the OMW, and then the OMI. So things are changing and evolving, and the recommendation, of course, is to integrate it to OMI, because this is the operation bridge. This is where you will do the correlation. If you already implemented the integration to NNM or to OMW, then you can consider keep it as is, and maybe with some modification to have the related CI and the event type indicators in it. But if you didn't spend any time and you're just setting up the integration, I would suggest to go with the OMI integration. The main reason for that is because these events are already populated with the CI hint and with the event type indicator hint, which means you can use those events in OMI for correlation and to color the CI in service health, and they are meaningful events in OMI. You won't need to do any additional work in OM or in NM.
Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, we spent a little time trying to integrate it to OMW, but not that much, so it would be easy for us to, not easy, but I think it would be more time-consuming to continue in OMW and create our own CI hint and all the ATI and everything than just switch gear and put it directly in BSM connector.
Exactly.
And I'm right? It's using the BSM connector, the official integration?
Yes, it's using the BSM connector with a content that you will need to take from HP Live Network. Yeah, the connector or the SIM connector, which is BSM connector policies are available through HP Live Network.
I think it is free of charge, right? My second question was around when sometimes there is a pop-up in OMI/BSM. For example, if I choose two different messages and try to create a new correlation rules with them, you know, you right-click and then choose create correlation rules. It pops a new window, and BSM, instead of using the fully qualified name, you use the short name, and then the window complains that I shouldn't use the short name instead of the long name, but I can't change the web page or anything. It's just impossible to modify it. So it must be hard-coded somewhere, but I can't find where. I would like to change the short name to the long name so that whenever I have a pop-up in BSM, I would be able to properly access the page. Did anyone ever see this?
I suggest to check the infrastructure settings. There is a setting that called, I think, virtual users URL and virtual data collector URL. So if you have multiple gateways and you're using load balancer, you need to use that setting to specify what is the URL to connect to BSM. Maybe you put there the short name, and this is what we're using to open pop-ups.
Okay, so that would be within those options. Okay, I'll take a look. And I just came up with one last question. I don't want to take too much time, so do you mind if I ask another one?
No, that's fine. That's fine. I've got a couple of questions in the question box, but yeah, one more question and then I'll move on.
Okay, I'll hurry up. One last question is that the health indicator sometimes does not reset back. You know, the event gets acknowledged, and I try to right-click and reset the health indicator status, and it won't reset. So, did anyone ever notice that? Anyone knows what could cause the health indicator not to reset properly?
I think I've seen that in the past. I think the health indicator is actually is resetting, and you can see that on the KPI, that the KPI status calculated based on this health indicator will change its status. I think it's a UI issue that the icon of the health indicator is not updated. I think the status behind the scene is resetting.
Okay, because a couple of days later it still shows with a warning instead of a okay, and there was no new messages, so that's why I was asking.
By the way, the best practice is to have the event reset the health indicator, not from the UI.
Yeah, the problem is that we did the integration a little bit too fast, so some messages were not finished configured properly. So
okay, yeah. I think behind the scene the health indicator was resetted correctly, and it's just a UI issue that's not reflecting the right current status.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Francois. I'm going to move on to John Ferralillo.
Email me if you got something that
John?
is pressing.
Hello, John. Hello, John.
Perfect, sir. Perfect. All right, man. So go ahead and do that, and then I'm putting together another.
John's on another call. I'll move on to the John Ziegler. Hello, John. You're on. Okay, John's on headphones only, so I'll mute him again. I can't unmute Lee because he needs to type in the PIN number at the PIN. So I will move on to Nicholas Arellano, and Nicholas has raised a question. So Nicholas, you're on.
Yes, sir. I was just wondering. I have NNM integrated with the RTSM, so it's getting all our layer 2 devices. But I've noticed in my error logs that it's I guess finding all the interfaces, and it's coming out complaining that a lot of the interfaces having the same MAC address. So what is it that I need to do to, I guess, not to discover all those interfaces, or why is that coming out? I'm kind of new to this, so. Could you hear me?
Yes, yes. Asaf, are you, is that something you could answer, do you think?
I can try. So, if I understand correctly, you're seeing in the, I assume in the error log in the ODB folder, probably, you see some reconciliation messages or reconciliation errors. And now I'm opening my system to see how interface is reconciled. A MAC address should be the same. Let's see, interface. What is interface? It's coming. Okay. Reconciliation of interface. Actually, it's advanced. It's using MAC address or interface name. The MAC address is part of the reconciliation, so it should reconcile, but maybe it's not reconciling with interfaces that came from other sources. So what else populating your RTSM? Is it do you have OM or CMDB or something?
I have an external UCMDB plus also OMW.
Okay, so I think you have some reconciliation issues between the different sources. The best way to handle this is actually to open support case and to look at the specific log messages to understand why and where they are coming from. As for the NNMI integration, there are some settings in the integration that you can try to use to improve or to reduce the topology that NNMI is sending to RTSM. I'm not sure if you're already using, there is a checkbox there to synchronize only managed objects, so only the managed nodes that you have in the system will be synchronized. If you are not managing in the interface level, then by default all the interfaces of the device will be synchronized. What you can do is also to manage in the interface level, and then not all the interfaces will be sent over from NNM to RTSM.
On the only managed systems, is that on the RTSM where I make that? You
made this configuration on the NNMI side, where you are doing the topology integration settings.
Oh, okay.
So you can try to reduce the object that you are sending to see if that will fix the problem. But anyway, I think the best way to move forward with that is to open support case and to look at the actual errors and why the interfaces are not reconciling between the different systems.
Okay.
I don't believe the reconciliation is happening between NNM and itself. I think it's between NNM and interfaces that are coming from other sources.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you, Asaf. I'll move on to Ofer. Ofer Ben Sadeh. Sadeh?
Yes, Ofer Ben Sadeh. This is me.
It's very good practice for us on how to pronounce surnames across the world. Good afternoon, or good evening.
Yes, for me it's good evening. I'm working at Amdocs. We have the very large portion of the BSM suite we're using here. It's including the OM, SiteScope, HTTP, BSM with OMI, with the with SHA, and also BPM. We are now also looking into operation automation, and that's it. The main issue that we are facing now is actually, we were actually two. One is that our actually internal customers, the operation guys are looking for self-service, and that we are finding it very hard to provide through the current capability of the tools. And the other one is that we are running on VM. Almost all our installation are on VM, and it's Linux. And we are facing lately some performance issue that seems to be related to running on VM. That's it. I was last week in HP Discover, and I saw nice direction on the OMI, the look and feel, the new look and feel of it, and what is the planning for the coming version. It's something to wait for.
Okay. On the self-service, what are your users actually looking for? Is it machine self-service, so sort of virtual machine, or automation?
We are preparing. We're actually having a set of monitors that are generic monitors, generic template or policies and things like that for monitoring all the kind of all the aspects of the application and system and so on. But when we need to change threshold, to change frequency of the monitor, to deploy a new instance of the same template or policy. This is something that they are looking to do, because there is nothing nothing special for the expertise in monitoring on those tools in order to do it. But the problem is that we have to give them admin rights, full admin rights in order to do that. And this is something that we don't want. We want to be able to give them the specific rights to do specific things, just specific things that we want them. We don't want them, for example, to be able to delete monitors, or to change setting in the connection or things like that.
Yes.
But to change the threshold or to change the frequency, this is something that we want to give them the ability, so they won't we won't be a bottleneck in this process.
So, Ofer, have you looked at monitoring automation in OMI?
Yeah. I said that we looked at it, and actually it's a good direction. It's a good direction, that the possibility to give to parameterize certain things in the monitoring, but there are two main issues. The permission is, again, in order to them to be able to do things, I have to give them more permission than I would like to give them.
No, not necessarily, right? The parameters you're using in the policy, they can be taken from CI attributes. So the only permissions they need to have is to update CI attributes. It doesn't have to be, by the way, directly to the RTSM. So you can, I had the same discussion with several other customers. They are planning to develop their own self-service portal, and that portal will access the RTSM API and make the updates to the CIs, which will then be used by monitoring automation to update the policies. So you don't need to give them any access to BSM, to be honest. All the access they can have is to the self-service portal, and then you are controlling what they can update and change and modify in BSM, and how is that going to impact their monitoring strategy.
Yeah, this means I have to develop a self-service portal.
Absolutely.
It's meaning if we are talking about develop it, I can do it today much simple without the automation. I don't need the automation in order to do that. I can do it with large portion of our monitors are related on a config file. We build it so they are related on config file, and I can create a portal that and give them the ability to modify those config file, and I can also use some APIs for the site scope or for the OM, but I'm looking for something that is more generic, that I don't have to develop it, and that will not have to maintain it as my own development, because I expect to get it from the tool. I'm always can develop something outside. This is not what I'm looking for. And actually, we were thinking about it, but and we are thinking of doing such things. Yet I understand that the self-service is already considering, HP is considering the solution for that. So we will have to see if we are what we are going to do further on with that. That's it.
Okay. Thank you for your question, Ofer. And I don't think we've answered your question, but maybe we've at least had a conversation around it. Bozidar has raised a question. He's asked not to be put on microphone, I suspect, because we're having network issues. Asaf, a question about this, still on the monitoring automation area. How does monitoring automation deal with multi-tenancy?
It doesn't, because BSM is not a multi-tenant product.
Okay, I thought BSM was capable of doing multi-tenancy.
Not complete multi-tenancy. It's based on. There is a white paper about that you can have BSM look like a multi-tenancy, but it's not completely multi-tenancy. And based on that workaround, yes, you can create assignments, automatic assignments in monitoring automation, which will be different for different tenants or customers, because the automatic assignments in monitoring automation is based on views. So you can create view for customer 1, customer 2, and then have different assignment for each customer. But it's not official full-blown multi-tenant solution.
Okay. Hopefully that's answered Bozidar. Yes. He's typing in the chat question box rather than the chat box, but yes, I think that he answers that. That answers the question. Right, where did we get on the list? We're down to Patricia Fugate. Patricia, I've unmuted your line.
Yes, you have. Patty Fugate. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Patty Fugate. I am with Office Depot. We have OML, Linux version. We have NNM. We have BSM, where we're using VueGen to generate the scripts. So, of course, we have the BPMs, the pollers. We've not done the OMI integration. At this point, just kind of because some of the tools, I think that they're probably going away. Wrong thing. The Office Max, Office Depot merger type of thing. So, I mean, that's a lot of our environment with that. We actually have implemented using the APIs within BSM to be able to automatically stop and start things from within scripts on some of the servers, so we've done some of that.
Okay. And do you have any questions for the team, panel, Asaf?
Not really. I kind of, you know, just dialed in for the first time today, so I kind of want to see what it's about and see what other people are doing with it.
Okay. Okay. Well, welcome to the forum. We'll see you next month, hopefully.
All right.
Right. To Sai Reddy. Sai, I've unmuted your line. Hello, Sai. Okay, we haven't got Sai. Scott Harkins, you're next.
Oh my gosh, I'm on the air.
You are.
Hi, I'm Scott Harkins with
First-time
Costco
caller.
Wholesale over by the Seattle area in Issaquah. We're an integrated BSM, OML, NNMI shop, as well as with Tivoli and SCOM and blah, 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 blah. Doing a fair amount of integration with other systems. Right now I do the connector stuff for my part, but I come from a background at T-Mobile doing BSM as well as OML and OMU and OMW and so forth and so on. So I'm just here auditing today. I don't have any particular questions.
Okay, well, welcome to the forum, and hopefully the weather isn't too bad in Seattle at the moment.
It's the usual mist. We call it rain, but it's really just gray mist, and we get used to it. Thank you.
Right, that's it. Steve Maxwell. Steve, you're on. Steve's not with us.
I see a non-attentive mode button, whatever that means.
Right, I'm going to go on to Trent Gregory. Trent, you're on.
Oh. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just sitting in. I'm from EView Technology. I think we talked last week, and Rocky
Yes. Yes.
wanted to get me on these calls, and I'm more than happy to do it, and just enjoying listening to what everybody has to say.
I hope you had a safe journey back from Barcelona.
I did, yeah.
So I know a lot about eView. We're a customer of yours, but do you want to tell the rest of the forum what you do and your experience with the HP suite?
Yeah, I'd like to. Like Martin said, from EView Technology, we have been HP partner for a very long time, probably going on 14 years now. Our focus is integrating the IBM mainframe and iSeries, what used to be called the AS400 environments, into HP Operations Manager, now the BSM platform, and also the HP UCMDB Discovery. So I've listened to a couple people on here, and I know, like Martin, have been using our products or been partners that have helped integrate our products. So, our simple thing is if you want to do a consolidated environment that includes your, your IBM into the HP platform, eView's been the guys to go to. So.
Yeah, Trent, this is Rocky. I've been working with you guys as well in a number of accounts, number of customers that use your product, and it's one of those things that just keeps on ticking, and customers are always happy. It's solved a major problem for them to manage the monitoring from a single pane of glass, because the mainframe folks tend to want to do their own thing, and once we evolved into the open systems world, we needed that single pane of glass, which typically was Operations Manager, and your product fits in there very nicely. So thanks for being on the call. And as you guys get feedback from customers about what's happening in the BSM space, good, bad, or ugly, any feedback from in the trenches is always welcome.
All right, no, I'll be happy to do it. I'm glad to be on the calls now, and look forward to the future in 2015, getting more involved.
Thanks, Trent.
Well, we've been from the top of the list to the bottom of the list. I think we've spoken to most people that I can unmute and people that were there. We've been through all the questions that are in the question pane. I think we've fairly successfully answered most of them, apart from maybe one. So I can't see any other questions. If anybody has any questions, if they want to just quickly type them in, or at least put their hand up or something, and I can unmute their line. Otherwise, Rocky, do you have anything else that we need to talk about other than to say thank you for Asaf?
Yeah, I think, Asaf, thanks so much for answering the questions. That's very valuable, I think, to our community, to have someone from HP who knows these products from the bottom up. And so thanks for being on every one of these calls that we've had. This is our third call, and again, we plan to do these once a month, because I think it's important for, as a Vivint community, our focus is helping you grow your careers, and helping you grow your careers is by helping you understand how these products work, and what issues you're having that maybe others are sharing. So, planning upgrades or the next steps with the products, hopefully our little practitioner forum can give you some insight into that. And make sure that, if you want to share this information today with other folks on your team, it will be in the DSM SIG, and it'll be recorded so that they can share the information as well. And I think with that, Mark, thanks for moderating today from a customer site. And
That's okay.
I think we're good until we send out the next invitation.
Yes, I was just going to say, if people are on the call, if there are maybe topics that they would like the BSM, either the Practitioners Forum or even the BSM SIG to cover, whether that's around, for example, the new BSM UI or the OMI or integrations, we'd love to get ideas for topics for 2015. So. We've got access to a wide range of technical specialists, both within HP and within our customer base. If there's things that people would like to hear about, we'd love to hear from you. We like things that you want to hear about. So.
And the next 6 months should be pretty interesting with all the new updates in the BSM space. We had a chance to meet with the product marketing team in Barcelona, and they're pretty geeked about some new functionality that we haven't seen yet. So look forward to Vivint webinars related to BSM. I think we've got one lined up in mid-December, and then we'll have stuff in February, March, and April. So they're lining that all up so that they can share that with our membership. So BSM is coming back.
Definitely. Right. Rocky, have we got any other slides?
Nope, we're done. I think we're done. Let's see if I've got anything. I don't think I do, but nope, that was it. We're done.
So we will announce the date of the next forum. It'll be early to mid January. But
yes.
Happy Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy holiday, covering all the politically correct spectrum. If you get snow, build a snowman. Have fun.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care.